Let me tell you a story about a card. It's a Pikachu promo card that came out last month, and in early October, it was announced by PokeBeach that this 5th anniversary Chinese Pikachu promo card would be coming out. It had Charizard on it, it had Mew on it, it had Pikachu on it. Everyone was pretty hype about it right away. There was a short period where the hype was surrounding that card. And then briefly after, the leak for the Terrastal Festival Evolutions came out, and all of a sudden, nobody seemed to really care about that card anymore. It was all EVs. Then the card came out. I bought a bunch of them. Dan here bought a bunch of them. And we got them, I think, at around like 90 a piece, I would say. 90 to 100 raw, I would assume.
Yeah, I bought 30 of them at a little bit under 90 a piece.
I got 20 of them around 90 a piece. And then Deep Pocket Monster happens. November 14th, he released a short on Instagram and YouTube. We can take a look at the metrics here quickly. The Instagram short, 179,000 likes on that video of this Pikachu promo box opening for the 5th anniversary, and 193,000 likes and 2.6 million views on his YouTube short. And then the day after that, PokeRev released his video about the, what did you call it? The secret Pokemon card, or the secret Pikachu card no one knows about, I think is the title. 121,000 views on that video. And then just after that, the card goes from $90 a piece on Instagram to nearly $300 a piece raw on eBay. Now, a lot of people would look at this situation, a lot of online people, probably more casual people would look at this situation and say, market manipulation. These big YouTubers found something that was underneath the radar at the time. They made videos about it, and now they're making a whole bunch of money on it. What are your thoughts on that? And we're gonna talk a little bit about the differences and kind of the blurred lines between organic demand and this artificial market manipulation, that word that's always thrown around, especially at YouTubers. What do you think, Dan?
I think it's a really interesting conversation, and people who didn't buy at 100 and then still don't have one now and watch the price run away from them. It's very normal response to get kind of like defensive, and I'm a victim of what happened here. Something very bad happened because I can no longer get this card for a price that I deem reasonable. The question that I guess I would pose back is, what is organic if not discovering a card through a social media platform? I think something that would clearly make it immoral, wrong, other negative connotations that I don't believe took place whatsoever. I don't know Pat or Nick extremely well, but I have interacted with both of them. I think they're both very, very positive influences on the hobby. I think they both make a ton of money in the hobby, in the space, through their followings, through their channels. I do not remotely think for a second that they would have done anything like this. But where I think it would be just objectively the wrong thing to do would be, hey, I'm gonna make this video a month from now. Let me tell all my buddies, let me tap all my contacts in China, amass 1,000 of these promos, and then pump it and then dump it. That's not going on. I would suspect that Pat might have a couple of those, probably the one that he opened on the channel. Maybe he keeps one sealed in his PC. I don't really know exactly what he does with that, but similarly with PokeRev, I do not see either of those enacting something along those lines, any kind of a manipulated buyout, drive the price up, dump them on everybody. It's just a matter of they are Pokemon channels for entertainment, opening niche, exciting new cool artwork cards. Like, you can't say it's objectively cool, but I think you can almost say the artwork on that card is like objectively cool, as close to being objectively cool as one could get.
It at least has multiple Pokemon on it that are objectively popular.
Yeah. It's got very like S and A tier Pokemon. It takes up the whole art of the card. It's got that like Festa feel. A lot of those Japanese very popular artworks, like the Festa promos and stuff. So
those were the cards that I was thinking about when I bought 20 of them. I was like,
yep.
I've seen so many of these Pikachu promo cards that have the Pikachu in the middle, and all the other Pokemon around them go for a lot of money after they come out. So I was like, I'm just gonna buy 20 of them and see what happens. And
yeah, so to me, like I would flatly say that this was not inorganic whatsoever. I think this is the design of these platforms. This is just the way that information is disseminated these days. Maybe back in 1999 on the playground, things were more organic because we opened them from the pack directly ourselves, and we heard from somebody that you could find Ancient Mew under the truck in Pokemon Red and Blue. Maybe that was all more organic, but like this is how information moves today. And as long as no shady dealings were going on in the background, which I have no remote thought that would have been the case, I think it's all reasonable, and that's just the way things go. And when it's kind of niche, when it's a little bit obscure, market prices can do that at a time. Another similar thing that I would point to, kind of analogous, not entirely, when PokeRev was doing that Lost Origin rip stream, and it took him thousands of packs and he never pulled the Aerodactyl. That shows you that one was clearly just pure chance. He happened to not pull that one card, and the market price ran away on that card for some amount of time, and that was not intended by him. He was just showing you a set. He was having fun, interacting, entertaining, as he does, as is the design of his channel, and the market did what it did. A lot of people, hey, this Aerodactyl seems really rare. Hey, this Pikachu Chinese promo seems really rare and cool, and let me buy one. And that's what happens.
I think for some people, it's probably just the directness that you can see these things move. You can see the content come out, and then you can see the next day it shoots up in price. I think our minds, like, or some people's minds at least, connects the two dots and is like, wait a minute, something's going on here. Like, the price shouldn't move just because that person said the thing about it. There must be some weird, nefarious thing going on. And I just want to reiterate, I don't think so either. I don't think that there was some weird, nefarious thing going on. I just think it's interesting. People's knee-jerk reactions to marketing, essentially. I remember when CGC first was coming out in the first couple of years, they were sponsoring box breaks. They were kind of doing the paid marketing plan to get their product and their service in front of the eyes of the people in the hobby. And there was a knee-jerk reaction of the people in this hobby of like, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know. They're sponsoring these people. That means they're giving them better grades. That means, you know, all this nefarious stuff attached to the sponsorship. I do agree with you as well. I think this is how people get information nowadays. I know everything from Pokemon, from Discord communities and YouTube videos and PokeBeach articles. Like, that is it. Yep. There isn't a whole lot of, I guess Discord can be counted as like word of mouth. I wouldn't know that vending series, web series, those cool niche Japanese series existed if it wasn't for watching SM Pratt videos back in the day. I do think it is organic to go to these different social media websites and consume content and then get interested about a certain thing. And I think that the timing was just right. Like I said in the beginning, you know, promos came out, everyone saw them, everyone was like, oh, that's really cool. It was different. It was in Chinese. It was something for an anniversary. Like, it seemed to have all the elements. And then big evolution drop. A lot of people were no longer focusing on that promo anymore. It kind of fell off the radar. And then big videos, all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh yeah, that promo exists. Let me go see and buy it and speculate on it and do all that stuff. And then the price goes up because demand doesn't meet supply for a little while. And then all that stuff happens. What do you think causes, if you had a guess, this knee-jerk reaction, this immediate negative thoughts that happen with like paid marketing and things in the space?
I think a lot of it is just that, like, at the risk of people really not liking my answer, the like victim mentality. I feel like a year or two ago, I made an analogy, maybe on Pokeflips, maybe on my own channel. It's like when you have that childhood band that you grew up with, and you used to go watch them at the local spots, $5 cover charge. You used to go in and you could watch them, and you were the true fan. You were the true organic in at the ground floor. And then your band gets bigger, and you got to start paying $25 to go watch them a couple towns over. Then they go across the state. Then they go then they go worldwide. Now they're Taylor Swift, and you got to pay $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 to get in the door. Some people get really defensive of that. Taylor Swift's a good analogy. I watched Taylor Swift open for Rascal Flatts. So I did see Taylor Swift back for, I want to say I paid double digits for the tickets. People in that position could be like, oh, well, I watched her back when she was $50 opening for concerts, and now she's thousands of dollars. I deserve the right. I'm entitled to get what I want for the price that I want to pay, and this is unreasonable. So some amount of it's that. Some amount of it is like, I'm not getting the things that I want, and other people must be doing evil things to deprive me of that thing. To some extent, just to be fair to the other side, to be fair to the side that I'm like really going against right now. Some of that happens. There are nefarious people out there in Discords or YouTube channels or whatever it may be. There are people that intentionally build up quantities of cards and then try to like pump them and dump them on the following. But I don't think that is the case here. And I think sad state of just reality, sad state of society, humanity, whatever you want to call it. Negativity sells. Negativity draws clicks. Negativity gets those emotions flowing. It baits those clicks. You said it earlier, demand. Like, if millions of people are turned on to some niche promo, there's probably tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. There's probably a lot of them. But still, if you make all in one go, in 1 week, you introduce something like that to 3 million people, 5 million people, whatever it is. If 1/10 of them decide to buy it all at one time, there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of most of these cards, but there might only be tens or hundreds or like low hundreds listed at any one time. So very quickly, you can get like, without a buyout, without any kind of intentionally manipulated thing, you can get the prices moving in big big chunks at a time. It's not unreasonable for the people who are holding those cards to, if people keep buying them at one price, increase the price of the next batch and the next batch and charge what the market will bear.
I know you mentioned a couple times where you feel like the organic nature of things can blend into kind of a market manipulation situation. When do you think people actually should be calling out this stuff? YouTuber A buys 1,000 of these or 100 of these and makes a video to their millions of subscribers and pumps up the price 3 times, and then on their website is like, hey guys, I've got these available at the end of the video for $300 a piece when you bought them all for 90. Where does that start to become almost, I don't want to bring out the Spider-Man quote, but the with power comes great responsibility. When does it become that scenario in which stuff like that should be called out?
I really have no idea. That's a very hard thing to define, and I don't want to be any one of the judge, jury, or executioner on that. I don't want to be the arbiter of what's allowed, what's not. The way that I've always conducted myself is I've always been very open, honest, transparent on all my positions that I have, and it's like, hey guys, generally speaking, I tell people not to buy my stuff. Generally speaking, if you watch my YouTube videos,
that's true.
You're less inclined to be a consumer of mine, which is ironic and interesting, and that's just the way that I deem the most proper for me to conduct myself. I think it's unreasonable to think that everyone would act in that way, and I don't think people are wrong for doing it in that way. But if people were to go to the extreme of, as we both gave the example, like intentionally doing that is very bad. So as with everything, it's a spectrum. It's not just black and white. You have the full transparency. I bought 30 of these at sub 90 a piece, and I'm just gonna auction them, buy it now them at the lowest market. What you said in your video actually isn't even the most extreme example of bad either, because what you said is within the context of one video, someone saying, hey, these cards are awesome, buy, I have them here. What would be worse is someone saying like, oh man, this promo just spiked from 100 to 300. I don't have any, I wish I did. Let's all go buy them together. Meanwhile, they're YouTuber A and they have sales platform B with a different name on it that they're selling them through. Like that would be the bad one.
Worse. Yeah.
that would, so the worst case scenario is they pretend they have none. They affiliate link below their own listing or their buddy's listing or whoever they're collaborating with
on a non-affiliated eBay.
Yeah. That would be like the worst case scenario. And I, to some extent, that stuff goes on. I think that stuff is more the exception. I don't think that stuff happens that much. I think the people that it would be most effective for, it would be most effective for the people at the top that would never risk doing something like that. It would be more prone to be acted upon by somebody in the more mid-range, maybe less to risk, but they can gain quite a bit proportionally. And how to defend yourself from it? I think the best way to defend yourself from it is to not FOMO into things. It's fine missing out. I mean, even $100. To be honest, like as a consumer, for me, if I had to just buy that card and hold it forever and I could never sell it, I don't value that promo at $100. I sure as heck would not be buying it for $300 or buying a PSA 10 for $500, $600, $1,000, whatever they're going for now. So yeah, that's the best way to defend yourself is don't get caught up in the frenzy, the FOMO. Maybe that card in 6 months, a year, 2 years, maybe that's back down to 100. Maybe it's a little bit less. Maybe it's $1,000. Oh well, you missed out. On to the next one. There's going to be more cool outs always.
Reputation is so massive in the Pokemon space, especially when you're selling stuff. Like the minute that you scam someone, the minute that you make a mistake, the minute that there's so many different channels and Instagrams and stuff. And our community is so tight knit that when that starts, I think we had one a couple weeks ago. There was a guy that scammed a bunch of people. And the minute that it happened, my entire Instagram story feed was that guy's username. It's so fast that happens. And it's so important to keep that especially some of these bigger YouTubers, like the idea that any of them would risk their platforms for something as small as, a little market manipulation to make a little bit of money. Like, I'm pretty sure they'll be fine doing what they're doing. They don't have to do anything like that. Any final thoughts as we wrap up the video here, Dan?
I guess if you've watched this video all the way to the end and you're very offended by our takes on this, if you think that what Pat and Nick did were blatant manipulation and X, Y, and Z, I would pose the question, what would be organic dissemination of the fact that a new cool promo is in existence. How are Nick and Pat supposed to conduct themselves if not by opening and engaging with the product on their channel? How is that not organic? And what would be their organic way to interact with it? And then if your answer is they cannot interact with it in any way, or it will be just inherently manipulative, my next question is, what are they allowed to engage with and what are they not allowed to engage with? Is PokeRev not allowed to do a mass ripping of Lost Origin on his channel because he might accidentally not hit a chase card and then that price might go up? Like how I'm trying to demonstrate how silly it is. In conclusion, and hopefully if somebody does disagree with us, maybe we're missing something. Maybe we have a blind spot. I would be interested to hear those answers though. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who want to just assume the worst out there for every situation that doesn't 100% maybe add up to them. There's just an assumption to like scamming, or there's an assumption to some conspiracy or being the worst thing ever, and like cut some people some slack every once in a while. It's not everything is the worst thing you can think of. I did some shorts a couple months ago. I was pushing out shorts more regularly, and so many people would say that I was faking my openings because there was a cut in the middle of it. And it's like, why would I do that? I'm sure that it happens, but just the assumption that, oh, there was a cut in the middle of the pack opening, it must be fake. People need to give a little more grace, I feel like, and be less speculative all the time. Well, I appreciate you being here, Dan. Make sure to check him out, subscribe at Catch 'em All Collectibles, and check out his Fanatics Lives, Catch 'em All Collectibles, basically live every single night, whether it's Ponga or PK.
They miss Thanksgiving and they're missing Christmas, but other than that, they're hitting them all. Yeah.
Slacking.